What is going on, everyone? It is Mark Reel, the Fathers Rights attorney, here with another episode of the Fathers Rights Playbook. And today we have Orange County attorney Rafael Serrano. Rafael, how are we doing today?
Great. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. So today we were talking before the show, and we think one of the major issues we see men have is their case starts to spiral really before it starts. Most men, they look back and the mistakes get made in the first 3 to 6 months that sometimes take years to unravel. So today I think it'd be really good if we kind of break down how you can prevent that from happening.
Yeah, so I think the first thing you want to do is have the honest conversation with your attorney, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can actually get down to what is going on. And one thing that I think is important, not only just in your own family's life, but also when it comes to the court, is what is our goal here? And our goal isn't always to win. Our goal is to what is best for the children and get this family back into a functional way of life.
I think a big key there, something that I cannot overstate. The only person you can't lie to in this process is your attorney. That most of the time we can fix bad facts. We can work around them. We can create remedies. Maybe you had an outburst, an explosion. She's got videos of you. We can get you into anger management. We can mitigate some of these issues. But the worst thing that can happen is you don't tell us the ugly. You only tell us the good. And then we're standing there in front of the judge, and opposing counsel shows the video, shows the transcript, brings up the drug problem.
Right, and at that point it's too late, because if we had known about it 2 months before, we could have put in some proactive measures to at least stop the bleeding.
Mitigate it,
mitigate it. But also it comes down, when you get to the court, they want to see, hey, this guy was doing something on his own before I had to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And so not only does it help you in how you come across to the court, but it also solves the problem, which is, we try to get the areas that are have gone wrong, and we right the ship a little bit so that your family is not, the consequences of whatever happened are less long lasting.
First opinions are so big in family law. If the judge thinks you're an asshole, that's going to hurt you your entire case. If you are going in there and you get accused of being emotional and violent and angry, and you're throwing your arms up, making faces, moaning and groaning, that happens way too often.
And I've had a lot of times where we come in the middle of the case and we have to rehabilitate my client's image in front of the judge, and it's doable, but it takes some time.
Yeah.
But we also, we're very hands-on in terms of working with you to make sure that you know what to do and what not to do. Oftentimes in family law, you have one party that's very litigious and just emotional, and you want to make sure that you're not that party. Because if a judge sees that you're the cool, calm, and collected person, nothing to hide, and you're the one that is going to be more reasonable, and they're going to side with you more often than not. So we kind of make sure that we tell you how to, you don't want to do any kind of facial expressions or, putting your hands up in the air. I'll give you a piece of paper. You can write to me whatever you want to tell me.
Yeah.
You can whisper it to me if you want, and we'll have that go that way instead.
Yeah, I think that's for men, it seems like, and men a lot of times will get the bad rap. You're the aggressor, you're the protector, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're all of these things. And all of these accusations are going to come out. And you really just have to stand there and let it happen. And then if there are some things that have happened in your past, my favorite thing, I call it the 8 Mile principle. Eminem, the movie 8 Mile, in the final rap battle, what's he do? He goes out and he lays out all of the facts, all the things the other side's going to say about them, and you put it out there and you own it. And then you show how you've made yourself better from those mistakes.
Right.
And a lot of times, like I had a case where the individual had spent 18 months in prison on drug and firearms charges. Not small charges, like major felonies. He'd been lucky to plead down to 18 months, and he was only 18 months out of jail. We put that in our initial filing. We put that out there. We know the other side's going to say it. We can't hide stuff like that. But we listed off the names of his AA and NA sponsors, everything he'd done with his probation officer. We put all that information in there, and we kind of sweep the legs out from the other side.
Right, you preempt that negative. And We have cases where, we get, like you said, we have them in Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, anger management, individual therapy, co-parenting classes. We just do everything to make sure that this guy there's nothing that they could say that he didn't do. And even if he doesn't have some of those problems, what the court sees is that it gives you tools that you can help in the course of your family law case, so that you may not always need all that they offer, but it gives you tools that the court wants to see that you have.
Yeah, one of my biggest ones, and I'm going to say something controversial, 100% my opinion, but in today's society, there is a place for therapy. But therapy has become a crutch. But at the same time, when a man clearly has some emotional issues, has some trauma, has some things going on, hey, we're going to get you in therapy to at least show you're trying.
Right.
And usually the men who struggle to make progress in the cases are the ones that push back against us, really from doing anything to show that they are getting better.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we do this every day. We're in court on a regular basis. We see the judges. We've seen what happens when people don't do what we tell them to do and try to go this other route, and it doesn't end well most of the time. And we know we have a clear strategy of how to handle problem cases, and unfortunately, that's family law.
Yeah.
Family law is not a clean and pretty area of law, and there's a lot of conflict, and things happen, mistakes happen, and it's up to us to tell you how to stop the spiraling and crash and burn, and get your family back.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages. It's one of those things where you're in Lamoureux Justice Center multiple times a week in front of multiple judges. I'm in the Inland Empire here. We get a feel and we know what the judge is going to do, or what the judge likes to do, or what the judge likes to see. There are definitely judges who they love to see therapy or attempts at co-parenting before you show up. They like to see everything laid out on the table and just say, here it is, and they react really well to it. And so that's where having a good, experienced local counsel is a big deal, because that first impression in presenting you the way that judge likes to see it can be a huge first step.
Right, absolutely.
So we get in there, and like I said, the biggest piece, the good, the bad, the ugly, all has to come out. Only person you can't lie to. You can lie to your new significant other. You can lie to your mom. You can lie to your co-parent. Not advising this, but you can. You just can't lie to me. That's the only thing I care about, because at the end of the day, telling your attorney all of those things, like I said, we can prep for them. We can position it, frame things where you look better. So I'll pass it off to you for this. Guy comes in, and it's a little bit of a messy case. Let's say it's just getting started. What are some of the things that you're going to look for in that case to help him position him in front of a judge?
Well, I want to know what the problem areas are. I mean, oftentimes the unfortunate and sad reality is that we have domestic violence. And that comes up sometimes, and there's two
or
kinds.
Accusations of domestic violence.
And that's where I was going. You have cases where, hey, I did it, it was a mistake. Or we have cases where he didn't do it, and we don't get the full side of the picture. The case hasn't, the one side has told this nasty story about somebody, and it looks awful on paper, but once you hear what actually happened, that wasn't the case. So you have two cases. When you have cases that the guy did it, we did it, it was a mistake, it's never right, but we have to make sure that we get you into some kind of strategy so that we address the problem, and then we tell the court, look, we own up to it, take accountability for it.
I want to say this: 75% of the domestic violence accusations we get are not physical. You don't have to hit someone to commit domestic violence in the state of California. Right or wrong, we have a very broad definition.
And that's the other problem, is that it's such a liberally construed area of law that you could say something. I've seen in court where they said, how did that text message make you feel?
The mean text restraining order.
I didn't like it. And then the he has no attorney, and he says, Judge, I sent that message. And then bam, sole legal custody to mom. His case is over.
Yeah, you come across as an asshole during the hearing.
Or even he tries to say, I sent the message and I'm sorry. Too bad, you already sent it. And now your legal custody is gone. And good luck getting that back for, and how long is it going to take for you to get that back?
5 years
right.
For 3111.
And then how much money is that going to cost you an attorney? So if we had gotten involved in that guy's case beforehand, we could probably work with some kind of way to not get a permanent restraining order and do things that would stop the bleeding.
Yeah, that's a sad reality too we face a lot, is that guys will reach out to us for help. They will inquire about what's going on in their case. They'll opt to not hire us. They'll get some allegations. They'll end up catching what I would call a pretty weak domestic violence restraining order, and then we're limited in what we can do. And if you would have done the right things from day one, it's going to be shorter case, less cost. The biggest loss of wealth in the United States is divorce. And then time with your kids. So, I mean, it's just like everything in your life, if you're able to, from day one, do what you're supposed to do in this process.
Right. Yeah, and, we've seen every flavor of family law case you can think of. So no matter what you have, whether you have the worst case or the easiest case in the world, there's still something that we can offer you. And more often than not, it will save you time, money, headache. And what I like to think about is that we kind of give you the peace of mind, so that everything that you're going through in your family law case, you can put on our shoulders and get it off of yours. So that if there's anything that comes up, we'll tell you if you have to worry about it. But until then, just focus on your family, and we'll take care of everything else.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal about having the right representation, is the stress it takes off. All right, so we covered a lot of information there. Rafael, thank you so much. For all of our viewers and listeners, thank you for listening or watching to another episode of the Fathers Rights Playbook. We'll see you guys next week.